I'm Jordan Lulich, and this is the Lulich Corner hosted by Lulich Attorneys. Good morning. Today we've got the honor of having Pat Riviezzo with us, and Pat is president of the Sebastian Clambake Foundation, and Pat's going to be talking a little bit about the clambake. Now, for anybody who's been around in the area, everybody knows about the clambake. I mean, from a young toddler, I was at the clambake running around out at the Riverview Park in Sebastian, and this year it's going to be hosted in Sebastian in November. But let's take a step back. Pat, appreciate you being on.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
And who is the Sebastian Clambake?
Well, basically, the Sebastian Clambake is made up of 7 to 10 nonprofit organizations from Sebastian and the surrounding area. And we have organizations like the Elks Club, the Knights of Columbus, the VFW, Team Success, and there's a few others. Right now, we're in a little transitional stage. We're adding some, and others are going away, aging out and dissolving. So that's who makes up the Clambake organization. Is the volunteer groups, the 501c3s.
Okay.
They make up the foundation. Okay, the foundation is headed by a board, and the volunteer board is made up of a representative from each one of those volunteer groups.
Got it.
Okay, and that's basically who we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the main mission of the group, would you say, is to put on the clambake, or it's essentially to support the community, or what does the Clambake Foundation do?
I think the main objective when they started the Clambake was to raise funds for nonprofit organizations in the North County for capital improvement projects.
Okay.
People were, the VFW needed some handicap restrooms. A couple of the churches needed ramps for handicapped people, and then it evolved from there. We've given money for Sebastian soccer fields for improvement, sprinkler system, sod, that type of thing. Concrete nuts and bolts things, not just funds to fund the organization, but to build things. It's a building fund, basically, is what it is.
To go to actual tangible results, right?
Correct.
Something you can see, something you can touch.
Yes.
So not administrative cost or
Correct.
payroll. It's to actually go to support actual physical projects.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Sebastian Clambake Foundation, it sounds like it's essentially like a catalyst to help further the growth of local nonprofits up in the North County.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And so you do that through the Clambake. And so when is the Sebastian Clambake?
It's November. This year's November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's the first full weekend of November.
And for somebody who hasn't been out, what is it? Like, what do you expect at the Clambake?
Well, you have naturally clams. We have different
Really?
five
I didn't know.
different types of clams.
Okay.
This year we're going to add some new things to the menu. We're going to have some funnel cakes this year because we've been lacking desserts in the past. So
Okay.
we're trying to do things that are within our cooking range,
Okay.
if you will. So we're going to have some baked clams this year, which we've been asked about for the last 10 years. So we finally found somebody to provide us with some good baked clams. And there's craft booths. There's a kids zone sponsored by Home Depot.
Okay.
There's games and projects for the kids, and that's during daylight hours. That's not going to be for the whole festival, so you have to check the website for those hours.
For the schedule. Okay.
Yeah, for the schedule. And then there is they have a reenactment of the settlers coming in from the beach and lighting the bonfire. There's a whole reenactment that happens in the park. So basically, when they started the Clambake, it was for just to celebrate the river, celebrate Sebastian and the fishing industry and the clamming industry and what this city was built on.
Yeah.
That's what it was for.
Because I mean, you were telling me a little bit about it before we started, and you said there's 30,000 people that come out to the Clambake Festival
Yeah.
over the course of 3 days. And I mean, a lot of people who are watching this probably been, but there's art and craft vendors, there's local businesses. I mean, there's live music, you can grab a beer, you can eat some clams. There's just so much environment and so much culture to the festival where it's a time to come out and enjoy the nice weather, the November weather, have some clams and look at the river. And there's a special, there's something special that you guys are doing this year, right? You're not going to be.
We won't be on the river this year. We'll be back in the park.
Back in the park.
Back in the park.
Okay.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yeah. That's the public wants that, and that's where we're going to be. We're going to move back into the park, under the trees.
Okay. Under the trees. Back in the park, under the trees.
Yeah.
So the Clambake, it's 3 days. You know, there's all these people that come. You know, so I'm sure that the Clambake, there's profits that the festival makes. So
Yes.
what happens to those profits, and why should people support the Clambake?
Well, like I told you before, we have a board that runs the actual event, and then we have a member board, which is made up of an individual from each organization, each volunteer organization. They actually decide who gets the funding.
For those capital improvement projects.
Capital improvement projects. The beneficiaries have to apply, and they have to do a presentation to that volunteer board.
Okay.
And then the volunteer board decides who they're going to fund, what projects they're going to fund. Well, most of the time, historically, it's done on a percentage basis because we never know exactly how much we're going to profit. So they do it on a percentage basis, and that's sometimes we don't fund a whole project. Sometimes we fund half the project. Sometimes we donate to a project.
Yep.
You know, but that's all decided by the member organizations and their members. That has nothing to do with the board that runs the event.
Okay.
You know, I just want to make that clear.
Someone like a board that's objective, that doesn't have any interest for these different organizations.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
that makes sense.
And incidentally, when you talk about boards, our main board is made up of members of past volunteer organizations.
Okay.
And present.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how we're all involved in it.
Yeah. It takes a community to put this on.
Yes.
And how long has the community enjoyed the Clambake
It's
Festival?
been 23 years.
23 years.
23 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
We had a hurricane one year we missed. I'm not exactly sure when that was. I don't want to say the year and then be wrong, but it was a couple of years ago. And we've had some storms during the event that have been pretty exciting.
There you go. It makes it an adventure.
Yes.
How do people find out more information about the event this year?
They can go to sebastianclambake.net.
Okay.
That's our website. And all the information will be on there. The vendor forms, the beneficiary forms, and the sponsorship forms, which we're looking for sponsors this year.
Okay.
They'll all be on there. They'll all be on the website. They should be on there within the next 5 to 7 days.
Okay.
We're just cleaning up some language and some dates and stuff like that. But otherwise, that's where you can find your information, or you can find it here on your podcast.
Absolutely. And we could put the information and point people to your website. But we appreciate everybody listening. This is a great cause to support, whether you come out, you enjoy a few days, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th, or you're a sponsor, or you've got a booth. You know, support our local community, because by participating and by sponsoring the Clambake, you heard it straight from Pat, the president of the Clambake Foundation. You're supporting the nonprofits, and you're allowing people to give back to the community. And we have, you know, for everybody who lives in the community, that's what it's all about. So, Pat, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your time. And this is Jordan Lulich with Lulich Attorneys, and this is the Lulich Corner.
Thank you.